welcome. Hour long. Oh, geez, that's over an hour of pre show tonight to the Gorilla Radio episode 163 post Christmas. How was your Christmas, Mike?
Great. I guess kind of sucky. Kim was sick, so that's never a good thing. But other than that, it was really good. I had a good time. Good food. Get to relax. What about you?
That was good. It was good. Pretty low key, and which is nice. You don't have to run around different places, and just spent time at home. Had some good food, and ate my weight in cheesecake and stuff. So yeah, we're good. So it was nice and low key. And then had today off for work, so get to my one day at work. I got to do my one day at work tomorrow, and then off to Al Smith. So lots of fun stuff going on this week.
Yeah, I'm heading out Smith on Friday also. I get to work all week though, so I didn't work Monday, obviously.
Yeah.
But if I did.
Yeah, that's...
Eric?
Yeah, well, there we go. Making sure that... I had to tell Cameron where we were. Good week. Just Al Smith seating meeting. That's always a fun time. Getting together with old friends, and I guess we're gonna talk about that. Before that, not a lot went on last week. Let's see. Terre Haute South beat Bloomington South. Just looking at last week's results.
Yeah. It looked like Bloomington South had a good amount of kind of forfeits, huh? Like not a good amount, but they had a couple forfeits in there.
Yeah, they had a... Oops, I did not see the... Oops, wrong one. Wrong.
Terre Haute South, the new number one at 3A, right?
Yes, they are. Bloomington South had a couple forfeits in the middle of at 113 and 120. So they do not... I think they do not have forfeits there, I think, for Al Smith. But yeah, what do you say there?
I said they're number one ranked team in 3A now.
Yes, they are. So that 3A is a absolute cluster of a class. So
I call that an exciting class.
Yeah, no, that one's gonna be fun to watch. I think that one's just gonna be all matchups. I mean, it's gonna be, Terre Haute South might finish sixth if they run into teams that they don't match up well against, and New Palestine, they could win it if they, they're ranked number 6. They could win it if they get the matchups that kind of play in their favor, and it's gonna be exciting. I'm that one. I wish they could just move to Brownsburg so that we can see that one side by side.
Yeah. And I think all the teams the presidents are all unwrapped. I thought they were going to take the same amount of time to unwrap as they did to wrap. I think that's just a really overall really good class where there's a lot of teams that are going to be contending, and I think a lot of teams are excited because I think they all feel like they're in the mix to win it, which is good.
Yeah, that's huge. So we had our presents were unwrapped by 8 o'clock. Someone was really excited about this Christmas thing, so we woke everyone up at 7 a.m.
That's exciting.
Yeah. Oh yes, everyone was excited. So let's see what else. Center Grove over Carmel. New Pal and Warren Central wrestled.
That was a good duel. Came down 36-37.
Yeah, 37-36. Don't know exactly where they started with weights, but a lot of good matches there. It looked like Warren forfeited 120, which is, I'm pretty certain they've had guys there, so I don't know if there's injuries or what's going on there. Vandy Griff over Bowie.
It looks like yeah, they took that middle where New Pal's really good at. They look like Warren Central did a good job in there.
Yeah, and that's where they got a lot of points, and then so that's an interesting matchup. You'll see those guys. We'll see Warren Central this weekend, and that'll be a good regional matchup there. There's some. It's gonna be interesting seeing Warren Central. I'm kind of excited, kind of interested in seeing them this week at Al Smith just to see how much firepower do they have? How can they make it interesting at state at this year? So
Yeah, I think they have some really, really top guys that can make a run to the semis, and I think you score a lot of points like that.
yeah, I'm
Where
excited to see
duels.
Kressel too.
Go ahead.
I haven't seen him. I saw him at IPO, but it's going to be interesting to see how he does with a pretty stacked field at Al Smith.
Yeah, all 4 semi-state number ones, right?
Yes, that's pretty cool. I was just looking at the rankings breakdown. I'm like, oh man, all 4 semi-state number ones battling it out. That'll be fun. Russell's obviously pretty good. A guy like Paris Green, who's been in the lineup for 4 years, seems like he's been around for about 6 or 7. Is going to be, those guys are going to be ones that can score some points. I mean, heavyweight's always kind of wide open, and get a kid on a roll, and he places 5th or 6th. That's huge for team points. So.
Belmont over Adams Central, brought to you by WCBD, right?
Yeah, that was a really big event. Real good match. I watched it live on a different station, the Burn Tri Witness or Witness. I don't know what they call it. That was a real good match. It came down to the last couple matches. Belmont just had a little bit more firepower, just a little bit more, guys that are just a little bit better. And so, but Adams Central gave him a good run. Usually it's not quite as that competitive, and kind of shows it's going to be interesting to see both those teams at Team State. They're both number ones, and in their classes in 1 and 2A. So I think that kind of that gives a good indication that Adams Central is pretty good. I don't know if it doesn't necessarily say that Belmont's bad, but I think Adams Central matched up really well with them, and they didn't have their heavyweight Zach Worm, who was a qualifier last year, so that'll be they get him back hopefully soon, and they're gonna be a 1A title contender, and 2A is kind of a pretty similar to 3A, where there's 4, 5, 6 teams that are going to be in the mix there that all can. It's going to be matchups and who stays healthy, and over the next week of all their holiday tournaments.
Yeah, Penn over Mishawaka in the old showdown. All right, game ended up getting moved to on Wednesday. I thought about heading out there because I didn't have anything going, but I didn't. I wanted to go see my guy Troy, but I ended up not going. But it sounded like a good duel.
Yeah, it looked like a good one. Some good matchups there. That's always a good match. I wanted to, if I didn't have anything to do, or that whole week was just kind of crazy, so I was like, yeah, I'll stay home. I want to go to one of those because I know, especially one of the ones that are going to be hot and heavy because they get pretty crazy there. So, tournament-wise, the Joe Bourbon duels at Rensselaer had some interesting results. West Central beat Rochester. Rochester beat Rensselaer, and Rensselaer, I think West Central had like 2 or 3 losses. I guess I could just look at the thing.
And I think we were kind of talking about it. Like in 1A, like West Central is really good in the middle, like 32, 38. So I think like matchups become huge in those duels. But they beat Kokomo. They beat Knox. They lost to Highland. Mark Maldonado doing a really good job over there. Yeah. I think they're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, West Central and Highland didn't have
Aramis McNutt.
McNutt, I saw that he wasn't wrestling. So yeah, West Central lost 3 times, but they beat Rochester, who was 7-1. So that's really interesting. West Central is at.
They're at Team State, yep.
So that'll add some fun for the 1A seeding. I mean, you can't discount. Can't discount a head-to-head loss, and Rochester they're pretty solid top to bottom. They just matchups matter in those things. And yes, Tell City is the team to beat. I will not go against Tell City until I see Tell City lose.
I agree. Good win for Faith Christian over McCutcheon. I know McCutcheon was in the mix for a 3A vote. So Faith Christian going in the right direction. Got to win over them this week also.
Yeah, that was real big for them. I mean, that's going to help them for team state seeding and stuff. I think they are this skipping it. I mean, they are this week at, I think the Wiley. Yeah, they're the Wiley Holiday Duels with New Prairie and Adams Central. I assume they see each other. There's a ton of teams there, so that should be a good test for them. So the only other big news from last week, East Central Indiana Classic.
Looked like a really good day. Real solid results. It looked like.
Yeah, Jay County won. I do not know who was second. Columbus North was second, and then South Adams, Bluffton. Yeah, it's always a real good. Has a lot of real good, matches. I know we got word that Griffin Byram from Jay County was down to 106. Had a good day.
That's a for him, I feel like.
Yeah, Levi Johns from Bluffton dominated. Ezra Phi. Cody Rowles over Jason Shuey. Rowles has 6 losses already on the year. He's wrestled a pretty good schedule.
I think that's a good move for him. He took a lot of those losses at 32. I think going to 26 is going to be a better move for him. Jason Shuey, really good.
Yeah.
Senior at for Columbus North. Columbus North does a really good job also.
Yeah. They the Thailand Thrine 10-3 over freshman Cohen Long from Columbus North. So probably, I think that's the result we were talking earlier that kind of piqued your interest.
Yeah.
Tony Wood is dominating Gavin Whitehead over Colt Bollenbacher 4-3. That's a good match for the South Adams for Bollenbacher. Also, I'd like Tay Curtis in there. Jacob Robinson at 150. Asher Ratliff over Isaiah Meyer at 157. From Austin Sertel from Finley, the Trojans. Another Keegan Klotz from Finley, pulling 50 or 65 and 75. Joaquin Flores at 190 was champ. Bryce Wank up at 215, having a good year, 24-0. Then Juan Cruz of Bluffton, and I think he was hurt earlier in the year. He only has 9 matches right now, so that's he's a state contender there, so that should be good for him. Yep, that was last week. So, any comments from last week?
No, just kind of going through some of the stuff. Just hearing some weight moving and things like that, which is always what kind of happens at this time of year. See where guys settle in, and you're trying to get like an idea where you're going to fit in for the state run. So this next week, I think, is the big week where you're going to have a lot more of those big matches.
Yep. Oh yeah, a lot of big matches. There's not a whole lot of stuff, but you have 1/3 of the teams at like 3 different events. So I mean, there's a lot of people wrestling this weekend and some real good matches. Just highlight some North Montgomery. You have Hamilton Heights, Rensselaer Central. Hanover Central has some good kids. Harrison, Noblesville, New Haven, Pendleton Heights, West Vigo, Alexandria, Centerville, Delphi. So pretty solid event. They do the duels the one day, and then they kind of seed it a little bit and have an individual tournament the second day. So that's always a fun one.
Yeah, we used to wrestle in that. It used to be just straight duels, and I like the format they have it now. I think they changed it when Coach Slane was there. Kind of makes it a unique event. It gets you a lot of matches, which is good.
Yeah, I remember the one year I was at Northrop, we went there and we got just beat on badly. It was like Portage, Bloomington South.
Yeah, I think when we were there, it's like Lawrence North, Newcastle, Warren Central, Carmel, us, Portage. Yeah, so there wasn't a lot of easy matches there.
Yeah, we just got pounded. I was like, whoa, what is this tournament? Some other duels, nothing crazy. The Defiance Border Brawl has some Indiana teams. Let's see if I can figure them out on my list. You have DeKalb will be there. I know Homestead, Eastside, Columbia City, Bishop Luers. So
Was Whiteland there last year?
yeah, Whiteland was there last year. I don't know if they're in the list now. Yeah, well, Joey won it. So
Calumet High School, man.
Yeah.
The hood. No, it's not the hood. I like Calumet.
Yeah. So yeah, Whiteland's there. DeKalb, Eastside, Franklin, Wisconsin. I think that's probably Ohio. Yeah, there are Woodlands there. There's 57 teams there. Obviously, a lot of them don't have full lineups. So, Mater Dei Classic, that's going to be a great one. Avon,
Yeah.
Mater Dei, Floyd Central, Franklin, North Posey, Perry, Roncalli, Tell City, and then Union County, Kentucky. And I think Trinity's usually pretty solid too. So yeah, that's.
And then they bring in Mount Carmel, Illinois, also, right? But not Mount Carmel from Chicago. Mount Carmel from like Southern Illinois, usually. Or they have them next, right?
I do not see them in the line. I know they've been in there before. I don't see them on the.
Is there an Illinois team in there this year? Who else was not a team in there?
No, I do not. Oh, Civic Memorial is from Illinois, I believe. That's the only team. I wonder if brackets are out yet. No. Darn it. So yeah, that should be a pretty good tournament. Obviously, Avon's pretty solid. They're number 4. Mater Dei. Union County, Kentucky has the Rainey brothers and some other pretty good kids. They wrestle a lot in Indiana and other national level events, so that should be pretty good. I believe they do have it on track /flow is how it is stream. I think they stream it there. They have in the past, I'm pretty certain, so check that when it becomes live. So they wrestle the 28th and 29th. Connersville is the 28th and 29th. Connersville has Greenfield Central, New Pal, Newcastle's there. Let's see who else is there. East Noble. That are significant, big name. Fishers will have some good kids there. Northeastern, the Kroll sisters will be there. They're always pretty tough. So Switzerland County has some pretty good wrestlers. That'll be good to see them there. I know they had 3 or 4 guys on the ticket round last year that were pretty tough. Let's see. Cub Classic announced by, all the IndianaMat people are going to be announcers this weekend. That's going to be announced by the Dustin Benz.
Yeah, he's going to put out a show for you guys. He sent me some of his highlights. He does a good job. Brings passion.
So they'll have Columbus North, Columbus East will have their backups there, I assume. I'm pretty positive. East Central, Heritage Hills, Madison, and Mitchell, Paoli, and male Kentucky. Just the males, no females. So, and then I guess the other big one, Mooresville Holiday Classic. Cascade. Yeah. That's gonna be a good one. I think they're
Davis, Bloomington North, Borden, Carmel, Cascade, Castle, Coyon Central. Last C's. Danville, Delta, Edgewood, Evansville Central, Franklin Central, Greenwood, Garrion Catholic, Hamilton Southeastern, Jennings County, Lebanon, Martinsville, McCutcheon, Monrovia, Mooresville, Munster, Northville, Our Lady of Providence, Indiana.
I think that's just Providence. I don't know 100% certain who that is exactly.
Owen Valley, Plainfield, Seymour, Southport, Southridge, Terre Haute North, Terre Haute South, and Yorktown. So that'd be a pretty solid day.
Yeah, it seems like everyone there has 3 or 4 really, obviously Delta has quite a few, a little bit more, but a lot of those teams have, a handful of guys that are pretty good, and it's going to be good to see those guys all in a tournament.
You got brackets up already or no? No brackets.
No brackets. They don't have a seed meeting yet. And then the girls' regionals are Saturday. So the girls' state tournament will be regionals this Saturday. I think semi-state is next Friday. And then the next Friday after that is the state finals at Kokomo, I believe. So the girls' season's starting to wrap up. I think we'll get some girls' rankings here this week. So it'll be interesting to see how this is the first year for the regionals, and so I know Mishawaka is hosting regional. The second, they don't have to roll out any more mats. They just are going to use the one gym for the girls' regionals. So they're going to be running 2 tournaments side by side. That's going to be a lot of fun for them.
I'm going to see if text my guys, see if they're going to be there Saturday. Maybe after I get done announcing, I'll go watch the girls' regional at Mishawaka.
Yeah, it's the Penn regional. So Bremen, Culver, ×2, LaVille, Mishawaka, Penn, Plymouth, South Bend, all the South Bend schools, Tippy Valley, Triton, Warsaw, Wawasee, Old Penn regional, because they changed everything after they had secured sites for everything. So
man, yeah, I'm sure that's a lot of fun. That's gonna be a lot of work for the Al Smith guys and Steve and the whole crew. That's a lot of people there.
Yeah, that's a lot of people. That's a lot of. I mean, hosting events is nice at times, but the Al Smith Classic is quite a bit of work, and it's like, I know Steve and the assistant coaches, the athletic directors, stuff that I'm sure they'd like having a couple days off afterward, and now you're running 2 tournaments at the same time, so that's going to be, running the tournament's not going to be hard once you get, once that first whistle goes, you're fine. The second day for the Al Smith's pretty easy. So.
Well, and they'll have the mats down for in the big gym.
Yeah, mats down.
Which is the other gym the big gym, or the main gym, the wood gym? I don't know. I usually only go to the wood gym.
Yeah, I don't know what they call them. Even though the main gym is really the one that's a little bit bigger. So yeah, it'll be good. You'll be able to go watch some of the girls wrestling. It says it's starting at 9. I don't know if they are changing that at, that's what I just put in there. So
the cave. I like that. That'd be good, and hopefully, I usually feel like the second day of the Al Smith goes pretty quick. Like, it's not like you don't get out there super late. So maybe if we wrap up soon, we can go see some of the girls' championship matches.
Yeah, West Gym is the girls' regional, so yeah, we've lots of traveling. Not only does Steve have to worry about coaching his kids and stuff, and now, at least for him and the other South Bend area schools, they can coach their girls and their guys, so that's nice for them.
Okay.
And all the other schools that have girls teams are going to have to be split up on the second day. So, Al Smith, that's going to be a decent little tournament.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Looking at some of the people that are registered right now, and not all the teams have put in all their information yet. So tons of questions, all the stuff that you're posting on social media. Everyone's asking, are those the pre-seeds? So I think that's just rankings, and the guys that are in the rankings. Every team has posted their lineups yet, right?
Yep. So we're still waiting for. Let's see, how many teams do we have? We're waiting on about 10 teams, I think, from what I can gather. Like, some of them I put in there, guys or girls. In there just that I knew that the better ones. So we have about 10 teams left. So you want to go over some pseudo pre-seeds?
Yeah, we can
give everyone the juice, the details. So yes, I will be doing the seeds. So these are pre-seeds, and kind of just working through them based on what we know. So this is based on kind of some information and everything. Definitely not final. There's still some things that you got to tweak in, and once we get some records for some people, there will be some shifting going on with seeds. So 106, Mason Jones.
And before we go, these aren't our predictions. There's like a system, the system to do it, right?
Yes. State placement.
Like it's. Yep.
Well,
head-to-head, right?
Yeah. Well, head-to-head is the top thing. So, head-to-head, common opponents, state placement, Al Smith placement, record, and then advancement in the state, like state series, is semi-state, ticket round or better. Sometimes there has to, if there are guys that are real similar, and one's a semi-state qualifier and one's a sectional qualifier, obviously we're going to give it to the semi-state qualifier. So there's some fun ones in here. We were talking about it beforehand and shifting some guys, and there'll be some things that we change in the meeting and probably even afterwards. So Mason Jones, basically how we do it is you go off their state placement. That's kind of the first criteria. And so like Mason Jones here, if someone's beaten Mason Jones, in the field, or if someone has a common opponent, they'll jump him. But Jones has not lost yet this year, so that makes it a little bit easier. It's state fifth placer, runner up last year. 106 gets pretty hairy pretty quickly. You can kind of see some of the stuff on the screen. Talon Jessup was a ticket rounder last year, and then sixth at Al Smith, and then everyone else. Bismeyer's the only one with advancement criteria, and Thrasher beat him, and then from there, I think that one's going to be sorted out a little bit more during the seating meeting once we get some more records and all that stuff.
And like when they go in there, will they be able to yell at you if they don't think it's right?
No, they don't. No. I'm bringing a taser. I'm bringing a cattle prod this year. So if you want to speak, you got to get tased. So.
and some of them are when we were kind of talking about it a little bit off air, some of them are tough. Like now the teams have posted in. I think the Plymouth 6-pounder would be higher. We were talking about that.
Yeah, I kind of have him as a. When I put him at 12, I just put him there because that's one that I'm keeping an eye on. Once I get all the information, then we can slot him better.
Yeah, and I think when you start looking at some of that stuff, like it's going to be tough. I know we talked about it last year. Like some of the CP guys and Center Grove a little bit, but like they're going to have more losses. Like obviously, Center Grove went out to Ironman, started Crown Point, so you'll see like a T Newell 4-4 there, but probably 4 pretty solid losses.
Yeah, he has a win over Lucas Manning, who's pretty high up there with some good wins, and so yeah, that's going to be So I mean, you're looking at record once you get past Bismeyer, you're looking at record and common opponents and head-to-heads and trying to.
Yep.
I mean, we'll see 12, which is nice. When it was 8, there was a lot of fighting for those seeds, and just to make sure you weren't in a bad spot. But at the same time, now if you're not waiting to try to snag an 8 seed, now you can be like, okay, if I get 9, 10, or 11, I'm still in a good spot, and I got to wrestle my way in there, but I'm not going to be drawing the number 1 or 2 guys first right off the bat. So I think that helped alleviate some arguments and being like, yeah, I'm not going to complain about an 8 or 9 because they're the same seed, or a 10 and 7. Those guys are going to hit no matter what. So.
And like for the most part, like the better guys are going to be separate. It's not going to be you're not going to have something similar where you had like Stanley and Hockaday in the semis and Hockaday Tech falls together in the finals. I think like the system's a little bit better, I guess.
Yeah, especially when they're all from the same state, that helps a lot.
Yeah.
113, that's kind of a little bit thin there. Salazar, you said that there might be a sneaky person from Chesterton that might state qualifier that might be sneaking his way into 113, but they have not put their roster in yet, so we don't know yet.
Yeah, I heard he weighed in this weekend at 113, so he'll be 0-0, but return to state qualifier, so it could be someone in the mix.
Yep. So we have Salazar, Bayless were state qualifiers. They both placed 4th, 5th, so that makes it easy. Nathan Reyes was a ticket rounder last year. Then it starts getting pretty hairy with the next one that you can really go off of are Button and McNeese. So that one from 4 through 12 basically, and actually 14 because I think that Joseph Hamilton had some he's had some losses, but I think he's pretty solid. So that's going to be an interesting weight to once we get everyone's records and everything. I think that's going to be a little bit easier to sort out. I mean, someone like Brady Harper, I know is pretty tough, and so that's gonna, Gavin Lewis right there. That's gonna be a good weight. Really, a good weight for guys to break out there.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. Lewis has a win over Bunton. Bunton has a win over Harper. And then, so like that's kind of how like goes from there. And those guys are all some really good freshmen in there too.
Yeah.
So should be interesting.
Harper has a common over McNeese. Swarthwood beat Frazier. So everyone kind of has a little bit of, they have a little bit of something. So, yes. And yes, it is hard to compare. Records aren't, record is one of the last things that we.
Yeah, I think we said that last year with like Christian Washington and Sonny both came in. I think they were both under 500 last year, and they both ended up placing at Dallas Smith.
Yeah.
But I think you wrestle those like tough tournaments to, not like worry about the seed they get. Obviously, you're going to be when you're wrestling at the Ironman. This is just going to be a little bit easier tournament.
Yeah. That's bad when
not that it's an easy tournament.
That tells you their schedule when you're looking at when you're saying this is an easy tournament compared to the last couple of weeks. So 120 going to be a fun one. Laraka Gendris going for his third title. Actually beat Laraka in the finals last year.
I've been trying to get it to myself this whole time. Laraka, yeah, Gendris beat Laraka there last year.
So maybe we'll switch that one. Laraka won a title last year, and Gendris was fifth. So, either way, I don't think either of those teams are going to really complain about one or two. You got Seth Auburn, state placer, Porter Temples, Tommy Frazier, qualifiers. Then you got a lot of guys that were in the ticket round. We go down to number 10, who've all been in the ticket round, which is pretty deep field there at 120.
Yeah, and then you have a couple of tough freshmen there, Henry Farrow, Hunter Mallory.
Yeah, so that's gonna be a good one fun one to seed. Going from there, seeing once we get some records and stuff, I know some guys that are ranked and getting the records is huge.
We're just kind of looking at, you'll have Maximus Kiros in there for Chesterton. You'll have Ryan Schmittendorf for Penn. I mean, I think those guys are probably towards the bottom of that, but it's a couple guys just kind of looking at it.
So 126. This is another deep one. 5 guys deep that were state qualifiers. This is gonna be a fun one to seed. Tishner.
Yeah, a couple guys. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 guys with state experience in there.
Who's the other one?
Dylan Bennett qualified twice.
I guess, yeah. That was from last year where he lost in the first round. So, Tishner, Bragg. Bragg beat Dominic Brown. And you got Eli Brody, who was a qualifier last year. Cameron Center, qualifier. So, yeah, a lot of guys with qualifiers and undefeated records.
Yeah. Maldonado ticket rounder, Landon Hawkins missed last year, real tough. Terry Easley had a really good win over Tankersley. Campbell was a ticket rounder. Dylan Bennett lost a Summer State 2-time qualifier before that, so pretty deep weight class.
Yeah, and you're looking at the 10 seed, possibly. That was a place at the Al Smith last year, 8th. 9 and 10 are guys that are getting knocked down because of other, because of losses and stuff, and that's pretty impressive when based on seeds, Campbell and Bennett aren't projected to place. Obviously, I'm not gonna bet against them or anything, but that's pretty deep weight class there. And then you have to go to basically only have one seed that's not a ticket rounder or better. So that last that number 12 is gonna be fun to fight for. 32 is going to be another fun one. Eddie Goss, Hayden DeMarco, Carter Fielden, Guillermo Rivera, Sonny Sessa, All 5 of those guys have state level experience.
And Ty Lisner had a really good Al Smith last year for Western.
Yep, Dalton
Dalton
Robinson, undefeated.
Undefeated.
Yeah, Angelo Vargos lurking in there too.
Really tough. His only losses to Rivera.
So that's gonna be it. That's gonna be an interesting once we get past like 6 or 7. So yeah, that one's, I think Vargo's pretty tough. He's gonna, you got to figure out where to slot him, and hopefully he's separated and can do what he, show, if he's as good as, he should be. You'll see where he goes. I mean, he's ranked 7th in the state, so hopefully can show that, at a pretty deep weight class there. Anyone else you see?
Yeah. I know he's wrestled some of those guys in the past, so that'd be a good one.
138, Kyrell Lavelle, Wesley Smith, both state placers last year. Obviously, Lavelle has a title as a sophomore. Clinton Shepard, he's pretty good. Fargo All-American. So,
yeah, just came off a win over Brady Eisen.
Yeah, so that's going to be a good, that's a good top 3 of the weight class. After that, it gets a little dicey, but there's some guys that, I think Center Grove kid Vander Lutengarten has had some good wins, so he's one to keep an eye on, and a lot of guys that, beyond that are going to be interesting to watch and see who comes out on top. Guys with some good records and some, been to semi-state and stuff, and see where they land there.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see some of the other guys come in. Who's does it's enter guy to Oklahoma State has a couple of really tough guys in the middle too, so that'll be interesting.
Yeah. So yes, Vargo's kind of a tough one to seed there. That one's gonna get worked out once we get some records and everything. Definitely is not gonna overtake anyone that's been to state. After that, you're looking at McGill, who was the ticket rounder last year, but he lost to Dalton Robson. So, and then Lisner placed at Al Smith, so Lisner's probably the next best guy up there, and then that's just where it falls. I don't know if you really can put him. I don't think there's any justification for putting him too much higher. But once we get his record and see what Lisner's record is, that might be a little bit of a separator.
But will Penn be able to argue it in there?
What? Oh yes. But I'm bringing. We're gonna distract Harper, and by the time, as long as we get through 32, I think we'll be fine, and he won't know what hit him. So, 44. I think this is probably the deepest weight, one of the deepest weights. This one's gonna be fun, especially with the seating.
Yeah, a lot of guys have been at semi-state level, at least a couple state medals in there, a handful of state medals.
Yeah. Courtney Zarwalker, Christian Arbery, Dylan Graham has a couple state medals, Brody Hagwood, Hank Finisile, Wyatt Cooksey, Lone Kirksey, Christian Washington was 7th there last year. That one's going to be fun to sort out. I'm not looking forward to this one.
No, I think that'll be a really good. And obviously, like Joe said, the more people are able to add, and the guys that are missing and the records, I think that'll help out too. I know you said there's 10 teams that are still missing. A couple teams that are pretty good in those weights that help out when we look at it.
Yeah, like Caleb Cooper from Columbus East is probably someone that's going to be in the mix there. I don't know what his record is, but I'm sure he has a lot more wins than losses, and so he could be. He's one that I know is ranked in the state, so we gotta have him marked as a. Once we get the record, we'll adjust that properly.
Again, These aren't our predictions. Obviously, like the rankings, they're not matched to the rankings. This is just by the seeding criteria before we have all the information. This is like the pre-seed of the pre-seed right now.
Yeah.
Give you guys a little early access to what everyone's looking at and kind of some of the thought process. And people have opinions, they're able to post that too.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll listen.
Yeah. So yeah, this is 150, another good deep weight class. Krasia, Hagwood, Wesley Harper, Caden Smith, Evan Cruz, all have, well, Smith doesn't have state experience. He was ticket rounder. Cruz was fourth there last year, went to state about 6 years ago, his first freshman year.
It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a while. At 106, I think he said he's gonna try. He's looking at 106 again.
Cruz didn't. He ended up pulling out last year with an injury, right? He didn't compete in the state series.
Yeah. So he didn't. Yeah, he had a big knee brace on at state. So.
Yeah, I think he injured his knee at the DAC.
Yeah, Chase Kasprzak from like Central. A lot of good guys, even past those guys with state experience. Aaron Durham from Warren Central, right in that meat grinder of their weight class where they have some pretty good guys.
Yeah, I think he's got moved around a little bit and kind of got bumped to some spots to help with the duels. So, real tough kid. Thanks, Eric. You're a cool guy too, man. I appreciate that.
So 157, another fun one. You got
this is a good weight.
3 guys with or state semifinalists last year. So Betts, Brabender, Cashman. Betts beat. Go ahead.
Go ahead. I think you're about to say the
Brabender
same thing.
At state last year, so.
Cashman coming down a weight was a semifinalist.
Yeah, that's gonna be. And you got Adrian Pellat, who was a state 7th place last year. Silas Stitz, state qualifier. Gavin Day, a state qualifier. Griffin Ben Titchell, state qualifier. So it's top 7 guys, all have been to state.
Yeah, that's just kind of a good mix. Like some guys staying in this is like one of those weights like where you're like 26, where you have got some guys staying the same weight, some guys moving up weights, some guys coming down weights, which is always pretty cool.
Yeah, this will be a fun one. I mean, obviously, then after that you got Kevon Russell, who was a ticket rounder, and then the last ones are all going to be basically winning percentage. It looks like. I know Lincoln Cooper's pretty solid.
A really good freshman.
But I don't know what his record is and stuff.
And we, like I said, we still have a handful of guys that haven't turned in their info yet. So I think once we get that, we'll have a better idea too.
Yeah, might as well throw a couple more state qualifiers in there.
Wouldn't be bad. Man, I was gonna say we could pitch that, like any weights that has forfeits. Like if anyone's Steve, invite those guys individually.
Yeah.
Which I think would be really cool.
Yeah. Penn's Christopher Scott. I don't have his record, but I know he's had some. Yeah.
Harvest Classic champ.
Yeah. So he's had some decent wins, so he might be bumped up there. Just fix that real quick. Let's make sure we don't miss him. 165. This is gonna be a fun one to seed.
Yeah.
And to watch.
I think this is one that so all the other seeds we've kind of just that looks fine, and we'll kind of dive back into it once we get more people in. But 65, I think, is one that we've kind of known was going to be a tough one to seed because of the depth and kind of some outlying circumstances. Let's do it, man. Yeah. If we have some forfeits, if teams don't enter a guy, let's invite some pretty solid guys.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, man, let's get Flieger on the phone and get Hybrid in there.
Yeah. Put him at 157 just for fun. So.
Well, get Jaden Lewis, but I think they're in duels, but I think that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, no, that.
I think Brockberg's out this weekend, right?
Yeah, they're not doing anything. See if they have any guys that want to wrestle. So yeah, they beat. I forgot to say they beat. I want to say 30-some-ish ranked Marist last week.
Yeah, Marist, and then I think they beat us. They went to that triple duel in Illinois.
Yeah. I think they wrestled twice, but yeah, they beat another decent team. But yeah, they beat Marist pretty solid. I did not see. There were a couple guys they didn't have in the lineup. I didn't see Mays. I don't think I saw Hockaday.
Was Reynolds not in there too?
I would have to double check, but those were two that I remember offhand. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So with all that being said, the top 4 guys ranked in the semi-states are going to be at 165. Obviously, there's a lot of people that tell you rankings don't mean anything, but these guys kind of have the credentials to back it up.
Yes, and some wins throughout already this season. I know. I mean, like you said, all these guys are number 1 ranked in the semi-states, which is pretty cool. Kressel has a state title in North Dakota. Myers was 7th at Al Smith and 7th at state. It shows you how deep that way.
At 170, right?
Yeah. Reinhardt was the champ at Al Smith last year at 152, but
and I thought he kind of dominated.
Yeah, a pretty good weight class, and he didn't. He lost a match to the scale at regionals.
Never an easy match.
Yes. So that's going to be, I think those 3 guys are pretty solid. Obviously, Radovich pretty good. If you're projected to win the Evansville semi-state, you're probably pretty solid too. So I think those 4 are a little bit better than everybody else. So it should be interesting to see how what happens here. I think that this is the right way it should be seated. Now. But
and I'm sure there'll be some argument there, and rightfully so, man. There's some things you can argue, but it's tough. Like Kressel is a state champ, like, and he's undefeated, and he's had some really good Indiana wins so far.
Yeah, he's dominated Bray Emrine, Huckabee, Michael White, whatever. I cannot pronounce it. Abodi, yeah. Beat Silas Fry. So he's had some good wins, some dominating wins. So that's he's definitely proved that he would have been right in the mix to place at state last year. So that should be interesting to see. I mean, I'm excited to see him, here. And then, past him, you got Diglan Pleak, Mavros, Will Kennedy, Marquise Young, Ethan Smith, Jericho Jackson. Some really, guys, Blake Wall going that right there now at 11th with only 1 loss on the season. So,
yeah. That'll be a really, like you said, like a fun weight. And it'll be a fun seating. Like, I'm sure all those guys are going to want to see someone on the other side of, like if you're, Crown Point, you're hoping that Duke Meyer and Kressel wrestle each other first. If you're Belmont, you're going to want Kressel Reinhardt first. So that's a really good weight class.
Yeah, that was going to be fun to watch. I mean, 1, 2, and 3 in the state, so, and 6. Can't be, the odd man out.
I don't think 6. They don't do the flowcast on at Al Smith, right? Like they do stream some of the matches, but it's on like the Mishawaka.
Yeah, I do not know the streaming how they're going to do that. Steve's still in the chat, so he can probably tell you exactly what's going on. Hopefully, I know usually they would put on their IHSA TV network or their YouTube, whatever it was, and they had a real good production for the finals. So
yeah,
if they have it from, so
nice.
I don't know. I'm gonna be there, so I'm not gonna have to worry about that.
I'm gonna be in attendance, so yeah, hopefully they do, man. I think that'd be really good.
Yeah. So 175. This is gonna be a fun one. Got a little bit of a surprise.
Yeah, this was the first okay. And we kind of talked about it last week on the show. Kind of talk about moves and counter moves. With Noah Klauster coming down for Center Grove, 190 to 175. We kind of talked about it for the team race, but that's going to be huge points there. Yeah. Klauster had a really good Al Smith last year. He had a win over Costello, had a win over Hardin there.
Yeah, and so this will probably, I know we were talking rankings, this will be the top 4 guys in the state, I assume.
Yep.
So top 4 guys in the state right here, so that's pretty cool. He thought 165 was good, 1, 2, 3, and 6, and now we got 1, 2, 3, and 4, and then 8, 9, and 11.
I would assume Yeah, I would assume three of the semi-states will be represented. What's Leach ranked in Fort Wayne? Is he the one?
He
No,
is
right?
number 3 right now.
So pretty good weight.
Yeah. So yeah, Russell was 4th at state. Costello was 5th. Harden was 6th. Klauser was a qualifier.
Yeah, and Klauser unfortunately had an injury at the end of last year.
Yeah.
Or I think he would have made a better, not better run, a deeper run.
Mm-hmm.
Really talented, really good. Like I said, he had a really good Al Smith. I think that's a strong move for the. If the cut wasn't very hard, which I think you never know, but like that's a strong move for Center Grove.
Yeah, I think that opens up a lot of. I know that I was talking to Swain a little bit. I was like, "Oh, that's really interesting." I'm putting those in. I'm like, "Oh, whoa! I don't think Klauser was supposed to be at 175." I was like that. It's something that catches my eye. Their 90 pounder that came in was a kid that was in the blood round at Al Smith a couple years ago, and looks like pretty solid senior that's been in the lineup, in and out of the lineup, gotten a lot of matches. That's not a bad move. Semi-state level kid that's gonna be able to battle in dual meets, and if you get a good draw, might be able to punch his ticket to state. You never know once things like that happen.
Thank goodness for the 2-pound allowance.
Yep. Got that yesterday officially.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting. We we're going to talk about it, and I'm not asking anyone to break news on the show, but I'll be interested to see what McConnell's weigh-in is and what where Nate Johnson is weight-wise. If those guys are close and they're able to make it, that could be game-changing for those guys.
Oh yeah, definitely. So yeah, that'll be very interesting if they're planning on trying to drop those guys down a little bit more. Those other guys,
it's tough. Go ahead.
That's. I mean, they got 2 guys that are top 8 right now, ranking wise, at heavyweight.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, maybe top 6. Yeah. And like trying to like balance that off of football weights, like I think that's gonna be. I think that's huge. Like you never know if they're being accurate or they're not. And man, I know like when I was a freshman in football, they were like, 6 foot 150. I'm not 6 foot right now, and I was definitely not 150 then. So I think it'll be interesting, but if not, I think you said they slide in that 190 in there. I think it makes a lot of sense for them too.
Yeah. So past those top 4, you got Cameron Crisp, Chase Leach. I know Hollyfield hasn't wrestled lately, so I don't know. That was one. Penn has not put their roster in. Harper can't remember his password. It's just Extreme 123. I'm pretty positive.
Next.
So yeah, but you got Matt Levitz. Levitz is always good. Jeremy Scales has Xavier Palacios. So after that, waiting for some records and some other guys to come in. So, but top 4, 5, actually top 6 right there, all with state level experience. So that's gonna be a fun one to. It's pretty deep weight class. It's gonna be, some good, interesting matchups. That kind of hoping they fall in an order where you get some matchups you haven't seen before. I think that's always a cool thing about the Al Smith is you're gonna see some teams match up that you haven't seen very often. Obviously, Harden, Klauser, they didn't wrestle in the duel, but if you're wrestling in a duel a couple weeks before, it's nicer if you don't run into those guys in the quarters.
Yeah, I think a lot of people I don't know. That's a question we always ask. Secrecy. They don't want people to. I don't know. That's something we've always kind of discussed off the air.
Yeah, so 190. Yeah, Luke Panola had a good Al Smith last year, placed 3rd. Vinny Freeman, he didn't wrestle there last year because he went with his dad is a coach of some team, I don't know, whatever. But he went to some nice sunny place to watch a college football bowl game.
Yeah, which he probably could do again this year if he really wants to.
Yeah, Yeah, so who know? I mean, we were kind of joking off the air, like, is he gonna come this year? I mean, if he does, he does. So, but yeah, he had a real good, had a real good breakout year at semi-state and state last year. Kind of knew he was pretty good, and then brings back a sixth place medal as a freshman at 182.
Yeah, I think that's incredibly tough. Like I think that those upper weights take a little bit longer to adjust to.
Mm-hmm.
I think when you're a freshman, and then I think you're used to getting away, being really really strong or really athletic, and then you can't figure out some of these grown men are the same athletic as you, and then he really turned it on at the end. I thought he did really well at semi-state, and then made a really good run.
Yeah. You got Donovan Blair was a state qualifier. Bisping was a state qualifier 2 years ago, right?
2 years ago.
At 152, and he's decided to bulk up a little bit.
I wonder if he was excited for the 2 pound.
I'm kind of curious to see it because I remember our guy Ricky wrestled him there a couple years ago, and he was, he was tall and lanky, but I'm kind of curious to see him at 190. So, Steve says he might be out again. So, like I said, these are pre-seeds, pre-seeds for before Harper remembers his password. Past that, then I think this would be a real good weight just for like rankings material as far as, some guys that haven't hit up and some guys that should, some good matches that should be occurring in the quarterfinals or in the consolations. A lot of guys that have some good wins, but none of those, defining wins, those significant wins that really like propel them in the rankings or get them higher in the rankings. So, Josiah Edwards, 12-1, his only loss I think is out of state. Alexander Tatum, Austin Reading. I know Reading beat Jokic. That's why he's above. That's why he's at 4-4. He's above Jokic. Cole Mendez, Ronnie Thompson is Center Grove guy that slipping into 190, and just a lot of guys that we're waiting for records, and that one's gonna back half of that's gonna be sorted out at the seeding meeting.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be tough, man.
Yeah,
that'll be the one to argue right at the end.
Yes, yeah, we're like you see the light at the end of the tunnel, and then we just go way longer than we should. So, and everyone's asking for losses and stuff. So, 215. Let me put that up. Oh, we missed it. Went too far. Will Clark.
A couple champ and a couple medalists in there.
Yeah, champ and a runner-up. Kendrick's a medalist. Martin was third at Al Smith. Weigert has a medal. So, yeah. And then that's a pretty good top five there, and I think a lot of those guys met up last year in a pretty good weight class. So that's gonna be fun. You add in McConnell, who's a state runner-up at 195. That's gonna be a fun one.
Then you have like a real good group of young guys. I know Aiden Abad has a win over Josh Diaz. Josh Diaz is pretty tough. Cameron Kaufman, Warsaw, pretty solid. So that'd be a good weight. Just especially the backside of that weight class. I mean, Will Clark's wrestling really well. Yeah. I think leaving Carnahan, I thought I was probably the most impressed with Clark or Hockaday, one of the two.
Yeah.
From Indiana, and I guess Dickman too. Dickman wrestled really well. Indiana represented themselves well at the Carnahan.
Yep. So yeah, McClellan was a regional champ last year. So yeah, there's gonna be a lot of good matches here, even past those top five. I think those top five are gonna be, what do we have? 1, 3, 4, 6, 10. And,
yeah, Brady Key in Northwood. I know he had some really good kid results. I want placed at Middle School State. So another guy, kind of a bigger kid, kind of grown into the weight.
Yeah, I think he lost to McClelland, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, that's gonna be a good one. As we said, get this sorted out once we get some more records and everything. Heavyweight's gonna be a fun one.
Yeah.
Paul Clark, Poppy was runner-up last year. Potential rematch of the finals. Nate Johnson, as of this evening, was still on the Center Grove roster. We don't know exactly how that's gonna shake out there. Because him and Tyler Schott are going back and forth, and then you got Jose Smith, who is a state medalist and third at Al Smith last year. So that one's probably need to check that one out a little bit more, but some pretty good top four guys right there.
Yeah. Ethan Dotson's pretty tough. I know he was injured last year. Juris has had a good year. Machete had a really good summer. So really good weight class there also.
Yeah, I guess you guys can't see the state rankings I have listed beside them, but yeah, you got Paris Green, Ethan Dodson, who I guess who missed the state series due to an injury. So yeah, should be good weight class there. Some other guys down deep that kind of just keep my eye on because I think they're pretty solid. Obviously, Pageant and Brown were in the expanded rankings. So
yeah, so I had to pick a weight to expand this week. I think I'm down 1 through 20. I just didn't know what weight to do. I think Al Smith always and Steve's done a great job. I know he's in here. Just constantly like building the field stronger and getting more guys in there, getting tougher teams. And this is really, I mean, you look at it from last year, like you had a ton of guys that with medals. If you come out of there champ, there's a good chance that you're going to be at the state finals, Yeah. And I think that part of it, and it's not 100%. But if you're a champ there's a good chance that you're probably coming home a pretty high medal. I mean, what do we have there last year? Mason Jones was runner-up. Ocampo was the champ. She's at New Haven now, so. But Mason had a medal, 13. Gendris and LaRocca. LaRocca was runner-up. He was the champ.
Yeah.
So on that side.
What did you say?
Sorry.
Ashton Jackson won it at 120. He was runner-up. Frazier was third.
Kishner. Gas was ahead of medal.
How are you?
Oh, pizza man! I thought someone was about to rob our house. I didn't know what's going on.
Nice.
Freaking out, man.
Yeah, 32. Hayden DeMarco lost in the ticket round, but he was over Czar Walker, Dave Montalto, Calamani. He had a state medal, so he had quite a few.
Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah. Reese Courtney, he was Courtney.
Runner-up, right?
Runner-up.
Yeah, he beat Hyvert in the semis.
Yeah. Aiden Torres, champ. Reinhardt Betts was third.
Yeah. Rob Bender got a medal. Yeah, Rob Bender plays better at state than he did at the Al Smith.
Yeah.
Goyne was a champ.
Roman runner-up. Klauser third.
Yeah, Harden had a medal. Costello got a medal. Cashman got a medal. Duke Meyer got a medal. That's pretty good weight.
Yeah. State finals match. Cruz Veazey. Paloma was third. So that was pretty much the top three at that weight were right there.
Macano runner-up there. Runner-up in the state.
Yep. Yeah, the rest of shot.
That was actually a night matchup.
First round.
Yeah.
And then Will Clark won state. Morrill
that was the semifinal match with Morrill, right? Tommy Morrill and Will Clark semis.
Yeah. Martin was a qualifier. Wingert ended up getting hurt. Wingert got hurt during the state series. Kendricks Johnson was a qualifier. The top six guys. Clark third. Yeah, so if you let's see. I wonder if I can see what round was the blood round. There we go. Let's see who. Xavier Chavez lost in the blood round. He was a qualifier.
Yeah.
Center was a qualifier, lost in the blood round. Let's see. Eli Brody lost in the blood round.
That wrestle back. If you lose first match, that thing's.
Yeah.
My daughter's carrying down plates, and the pizza man came. It wasn't a serial killer, guys.
John, you need to stop watching those serial killer
Man,
documentaries.
telling you, all these documentaries. If you can't get away with crimes now, with all this information out there.
Yeah. So Josh Johnson and Van Tichel was a blood round match at Al Smith, and they wrestled. They wrestled the first round last year, didn't they?
Yeah. Yeah, Friday night.
Yeah. Johnson didn't place. He ended up placing that state, which is probably likes that a little bit better.
Yeah, I always look back to like 2002. Hector Mendez in Chicago didn't place at the Al Smith, one state that year.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Not Jesse's Hector.
Man, maybe.
maybe.
If you've seen Hector Mendez, that one state of East Chicago, you would not think that's Hector Mendez, Jesse Mendez's dad. Similar resemblance, not the same.
Yeah. 52, Adrian Pellat was what he finished 6th?
Yeah, I believe so.
And didn't place last year. I believe Jason Rooney qualified last year. I'm fairly positive. He lost to Brabender in the blood round. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, just man. Hector was the 125-pound champ. Man, wild story is Andre Hernandez, I think, beat Hector like 7 times that year. It was crazy. He beat him at the Harvest, beat him at the county, beat him at the regional, beat him at the semi-state. He had Hector Mendez's number, but Andy Ole had Hector Mendez's number, or not Hector Mendez, but Andre Hernandez's number. I think he beat Andre 2 times. Andre had like 6 high school losses, and like 2 of them were to Andy Ole. And Andy beat Hector, or not, Andre in the semis. Then Hector beat Andy in the finals.
Yes, he did. So, yeah. So 160, Connor Watts. He had a medal last year, didn't he?
I know he had a really good run at the end. I believe he did.
Yeah, he had a medal. He lost to Degan Pleak in the blood round, and then wrestled him. I'm pretty positive in the ticket round at state, and end up beating him pretty bad.
Yeah, he got 8th last year.
Yeah. Just looking at Gavin.
Yeah, he won 15-0 in the ticket round. You're correct.
Hey.
The turnaround.
Yeah. Cashman over Gavin Malone. Malone, did he qualify?
Don't think so. Let's see.
I can't remember if he qualified. But yeah, that was an ultimate tiebreaker match in the blood round for a guy that ended up. I thought he was. Man, I totally butchered that. Ligonier. No, he lost at semi-state. So.
Yeah.
So, okay. Cameron's. Let's see.
Yeah. Bo Davis, number 1 seed. Then beat Austin. Dude, I remember that. Come on, I bring back some bad memories. That's Nick Fowler, man. That's my guy.
Let's see. Anyone else that kind of. Eli Smith, did he got heavyweight? Was he a qualifier?
He was in the mix. Yeah. But this is one of those mid-season like there's going to be a lot of ranking changes after the holiday tournaments.
Yep.
And I think that's because you're having guys that are one, we're going to see some of the out-of-state guys. I know we talked about it earlier, Center Grove and Crown Point both. Crown Point more than Center Grove. Crown Point's had a couple blowout wins in some duels, and I know Center Grove's been blowing people out too. And then a lot of their losses have come out of state, so it's tough to gauge. We said it last year with Sessa. People are well, he's under 500. Yeah, but he's also wrestling guys, and he's not under 500 this year. Or he is under 500, right? I think he's under 500, but he has losses to DeMarco. He has lost to Rivera. He wrestled Ben Davino.
Yeah.
And I think this is the best checkup. And I know that in the read, because they did hand me a long read right before the finals, and dude, my reading skills aren't the best always. But this is the mid-season state for me. I look at this, especially for the semi-state, and Steve's done a great job of expanding it out. I know He wants to continue to make it better and make it good. So if you guys have emails, send them to Coach Standiford. um, but I do think that like there's teams that are out there that have guys that could be in the mix, and I don't always think it's the worst thing to get some of the other teams that are maybe struggling to fill lineups in the spot where they're at, right?
Yeah.
And I think when you look at that, or even the idea of saying, hey, whatever team's not going to bring a full roster, if you reach out and say, hey, would you want to send, a team that maybe has someone that's, I don't know, I don't know in front of me. I know I said New Prairie earlier, but would you want to send, one of your better guys here to compete in one of the best, tournaments in the state? And I always think that's a pretty cool thing.
Yeah. Right now, Cecil's listed as 5-6. I don't know if we're missing a winner. I mean, it's not too hard to count to 6. Crown Point to get to 500, but yeah.
Well, I know he had like the Carnahan, he got 2, and then Ironman, he got 2, and then
he's also Rivera and
he ran DeMarco, which are 2 incredibly tough kids.
Yeah.
But I think it's one of those things like you're gonna have a better idea on some of those guys too, where they're at, and there's always guys that are gonna come in, not as much now, but like before it'd be like that guy's 30-0 and he got the 3 seed, and then he's 30-2 and he didn't make it to the second day. Yeah, dude, I would love to get some of the dude. I wouldn't mind seeing Cole Chicoine and the Will Clark rematch, the Al Smith. They're in a good win at Mooresville. That'd be fun for those guys. I'm happy they're in that tournament, but if there's guys that are in that mix to jump in for the weights that are not all the way full, I think that'd be cool. I'm sure everyone's wrestling something this weekend.
Yeah, there's a lot of teams. Just a rough estimate. I bet. We have about 300 schools between Connersville, Al Smith, and Mooresville. You got about 100. So then you got there's a lot of teams wrestling. I mean, let's see. North Montgomery has 16, I believe. So there's another 16. Modern Day has about 16 teams. So there's 120 teams just in those wrapped up in those events. There's pretty much half the states wrestling. At least, actually, about 2/3 of the states wrestling this weekend.
That's given, especially rankings placement in there. Yeah, I mean, rankings are a reflection of what people are doing right now.
Rankings aren't predictions.
I think that's always one of those things though. Like when people are like, "Oh man, rankings don't mean anything," and then you'll get like an email like, "I almost beat the number 4 guy." But they didn't mean anything, then why are you telling me that you almost beat the number 4 guy? I think and obviously to say Nick's is just because I know he's in a tough weight class there, and like he's a known person. I could use anybody. I could use anybody from Center Grove that's on the same thing. Like they have an incredible team. You could say, oh man, whoever, I don't know, someone in the middle, right? Yeah. And like you could say, oh, like. Nate Johnson doesn't have the record that maybe he thinks I guess he's a state guy too. But something like that, and when you're out of state all the time, you don't ever know, like, oh man, it's hard to gauge based on those events because they are incredibly hard. It's not a disrespectful thing to him. I hope they're not taking that as a disrespectful thing. It's just an excuse. It's not an excuse. It's just an example.
Yeah. No, it's especially like Center Grove or Crown Point. They wrestle not only the Ironman, but then the next week the Carnahan has a lot of out-of-state teams. They're only one state team in, well, actually 2 this year, but so they don't have a lot of opponents in state to kind of really compare them to with a 4-4 record or 5-6, and you got to kind of take those losses with a little bit of more than just a grain of salt. But Brownsburg doesn't wrestle a lot in state either. They were in Illinois. They've wrestled so. Which is good for them, but it also makes it. I can't imagine. Their seating meetings are probably fun at sectional and stuff. Like, hey, you don't want to see this because if you want to go to record with our guys, fine. You're gonna hurt yourself more than you're gonna help yourself. So
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm not trying to hurt anyone's feelings. I don't know if anyone's feelings are hurt. I use Evan Cruz. I like Evan's a good kid. Evan's 4-4. He's been in the semi-state before. He's been to state. His 4 losses. He has 1 loss to Tommy Gibb, 1-0, who's incredibly good. His other 3 losses are out of state.
Yeah.
And they're really good. And someone's gonna be like, oh man, I got a 4-4 kid from Crown Point. But like his 4 losses is probably, his 500 record. Like if you wrestled 90% of the schedules in the state, he might be 20-2 or something.
Yeah.
I guess that's the point I'm making.
Yeah.
Not.
Yeah, no, definitely.
Like,
I mean, someone that's been to state, he placed 4th at Al Smith last year, so that tells you enough of where he's at. I could even pick out what did he place? Who did?
Yeah, Teague's dad's in here. I'll use Teague and Noel. Teague and Noel is 4-4, right? And he was a round away from placing it at the IPO, which is an incredibly tough tournament. But like, I don't know if that's the record's reflective of how good of a wrestler he is right now.
Yeah.
So like, I guess I'm not trying to hurt people's feelings in that sense, but like, his 4 losses are probably pretty good losses. I know he ran into a really good kid first match of Ironman. Like, that ended up being like a 4th placer.
Yeah. Yeah. Cruz was in the semifinals last year. He came in. He ended up 5-6 or 10-6, so he was like 7-4 as a 4 seed. But ended up beat state qualifier Hagwood, and then beat Lucas Clement and lost to McGinley in the finals for 3rd. But Lucas Clement, Baldwin, Robles, we're in that weight class, pretty good weight class, and you're coming in there. I would say 7-4 record, so pretty similar to what he has right now. So, yeah.
I always like those comments. So.
Yeah. Rankings are for given.
I think it's more of like a recognition. I look at it as like a recognition for what people have done, like of what you've already done. Like, yeah, like we stopped it before the state finals. If we ranked it all the way through, I think it'd be a lot more accurate.
Yeah. So you're still getting 200 of the 224 state qualifiers. So it's for it's basically ranking a guy's resume. This guy's resume versus this guy's resume, and it's just like if you're hiring someone, you're looking at a resume and say, yeah, I think I'm going to choose him. Sometimes they're the better ones.
Still picking for Al Smith, man. That's always fun.
Yeah, I would if there was not. If I get all the lineups, maybe.
Yeah, I always think that's like a weird thing.
Yeah.
People get like so up in arms about rankings. It's crazy to me.
Yeah. So, anything else we want to talk about tonight?
That's an unquestioned ranking, Eric. Number 1 dad ranking on the mug. That's an unquestioned because I got the same thing, but in a T-shirt. Ooh. No, I didn't. I never got that. I never even got that ever, man.
I just want to know how many they sell of those things. Number 1 dad. Like,
we thought about ranking wrestling dads one year. Remember?
Yes. Maybe that might get a lot of hate emails.
I think we're gonna do best wrestling cliches. Like, what's your favorite wrestling cliche?
Rather throw you than know you.
Is that like a cliche? I thought more like, you don't know he's been on a mission.
Oh yes, okay, yeah, those. He's gonna make some noise. I like that one. That's one of my favorite ones.
Gonna make some noise.
Yeah.
Hey, just so you know, he's gonna make some noise.
Yes. Yeah.
Hey, don't put him in the rankings yet. I just wanted to let you know he's about to make some noise.
Yeah. If you want to listen to, there's a good TikTok. I think it's
Jason Null.
No, did you see that
one? Yeah, I did.
We're wrestlers. You'll hold my headgear while I kiss your girlfriend.
Yeah. Do they still sell those kind of T-shirts at the meets? I don't go to a lot of summer meets.
I haven't seen them lately. I mean, my daughter has a wrestler's sister. You better watch out, or so. Yeah.
We could do that. We set that up. if you want to move your kid up in the rankings, you have to go wrestle.
Yeah. Just have a dad's wrestling, right before IPO, so they can get all their steam out and.
Yeah, I like that too. Let's do a home run. Can we get a field? We'll do a home run derby for rankings. I want to see some of these swings.
Yes. I think Dave might have a little bit of a advantage over a few of the people. A minor advantage.
Yeah, I would think so.
Yeah, so checking out, see if Penn has put in their roster. No, I think Harper's protesting something. Not enough froyo at the meeting or anything. So yeah, but it's gonna be a good weekend of wrestling, and then start right into Team State. I assume we'll probably go Tuesday next week.
That's what, man. We need to get someone on the girls report, man. Yeah. Telling you.
So yeah, I definitely there'll be some good girls wrestling this weekend. I'm pretty positive Brandon's planning on doing some rankings. I know there's some weight discrepancies. Some girls that had only been wrestling boys, and now they're gonna obviously be wrestling girls. So they lost their roster. So yeah, a lot of real good girls wrestling this weekend. Obviously, I believe top 4 from regional will go to their semi states. So it'll be 4.
How many regional sites is there? I'm about to sneeze.
16, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Yeah, 16. So yeah.
All right. It just graduate youth rankings and the girl rankings. I see you there.
Yeah. Now Brandon does a real good job with it. It's kind of hard because of, especially this year, they did a lot of block weights, so some of the top girls didn't hit each other. I know that was.
He puts a ton of results in, man. That's pretty cool. Because I tried to put in some results this week, and it's not as easy. No, I mean, like fundamentally, it's easy, but I just don't want to double up all the results.
Yeah. He's leading the league.
He can dual results too. I want my semi-state rankings to look full.
Yeah, he's put in almost 500 results, and I'm trying to do. I even have I'll say some of mine are kind of steroid induced because I have like just under 200, but I have a script that I can copy in into a spreadsheet. Like what I'll do for Al Smith is I'll just go through like the basically second round through finals and put those into a spreadsheet, and then it'll parse it out, and then I can just, it takes about 3 or 4 clicks, and I have all those results in. So I'm cheating. He's doing it manually, unless he figured out a script there too, which I don't know. But
I just add them individually, but I always add the fall time when it's on there.
Yeah. So yeah, there's some definitely some good wrestling there. It'll be interesting to see who comes out, and I think having the regionals and then semi-state will cut down on time, especially if the regional is on a Saturday. I know they were having it on Fridays, and it was going really late, and tough to get people there to run the tournaments, to get them out of school, and they were kind of far away. So it'll be interesting to see how those work out this year, and I know the IHSA is very very adamant that it's probably going to be a full-fledged event next year. So that's real cool, and I hope they have it at a cool venue. I don't know if they'll be able to have it at Gainbridge, but there's a lot of cool high school venues that are going to be really really good event venues to start it out at, and some places around the state, even around Indy, that'd be good to have the state finals at.
Maybe they'll have it in Evansville. Yeah, Evansville runs this year.
Yeah. So yeah, next week I will be on the Dana and Rex show Monday, the 1st.
I think I'm going to be on the Dana and Rex show on Friday.
Oh yeah, yes, yeah. I think I'm going to be on Friday too. Are we getting the band back together?
I think so. I think we got the invite. I told Dane I would jump on.
Yeah, I think he's doing like an hour and a half like show. I'm like, whoa, okay, yeah. I don't want to be there that early, but I guess I will be.
Is it Friday morning?
Yeah. I think
Man, I don't know. What time I had to figure out what time I'm gonna leave. I'm not going down day before.
yeah. So um, the bracket reveal for Team State will be Monday night, New Year's Day, and then I guess we'll probably go Tuesday to talk about that. So
Yeah, that'd probably be good. We don't want to compete with our guys. That'd be a good show. Exciting. I know he's collecting a ton of information.
yeah, he's gonna be doing the radio shows and then taking in all the, you know, a little bit harder with when you have dual team results to kind of compile that, or individual team results to translate them into dual team, rankings and stuff. So that's going to be interesting to see how that all sorts itself out. And yeah, Team State's going to, you got big week individually, then you got Team State next week, and we're getting close to the end of the season, unfortunately.
I know, man. I was thinking that the other day.
Yeah.
The season's flying by.
Yep. I was just trying to figure out my schedule for the next few weeks, and I'm like, oh man, got Al Smith, got Team State, and then Cubs Convention / Mount Carmel Crown Point, and then you got a week of conferences, and then sectional. So
Huh. Cool. Awesome. What'd you tell me? You tell me you don't care about the rankings.
I still haven't seen it. I'm pretty sure if we put in our pick'ems for the rankings, or the rankings for the pick'ems, and they were usually top 10. So
All right.
not bad.
Cool, man. I mean, they only get 800,000 views every 2 weeks, but it's cool. No one cares.
Yeah.
We do need to get a girls show set up. I think that'd be good.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll have to. I'll talk to Brandon. I know his life will be a little less hectic now that the golf course is closed down. So the girls' season is actually just as long. Well, I guess it is a little bit shorter because they started 2 weeks early though. So theirs ends right before our sectional. So so anyway.
I don't know. Joe keeps those numbers. It's pretty close.
We
For the season, it's big.
If you want to talk, the rankings get quite a few hits. Let's see. I mean, we're talking. Let's see. What is the? I can bring them up real quick.
All right, man.
So yeah. Shoot, wrong thing. Wrong one. Google and what? I don't want that.
If they get 1 million, that'd be good. Just gotta, keep hitting refresh. I wrote a script actually to hit it every single day. That's what I did. I don't even know how that works.
Yeah. Let's see. IndianaMat. Yeah, we get quite a few. You'd be amazed at the amount of views our pages get. We've gotten over about 1.5 million views on the page views on the site, 58,000 users. That's not bad.
Not at all.
Yeah, and considering our Facebook page is reaching 800,000 people in the last month, not bad. So people do come in for ratings.
There was new articles this week too, right?
Yeah. Yes, we had a good article on who was it? It was Matthew Baylor. So should be having a couple others coming out. Starting this kind of weird week with trying to get things done with that. So trying to get some more. I know gonna talk to Steve Carl about doing a few more this year. So we'll have a lot of stuff going. So.
Yeah, I think the articles are always really good. Another thing, I feel it does a good job of, recognizing. I mean, I'm not familiar with the Milan, newspaper service, and if they're covering wrestling like that, I know not everyone's doing what Dane's doing out there, but or was doing. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, right?
He's doing articles on the main website, or on the WZBD website. Sorry, yeah. So.
I know I've seen some people kind of go at NWI Times about their lack of coverage. I mean, it's tough for those guys, man. There's only a couple riders, so I appreciate like reading the articles from around the state, and if there's any more, any more ideas, I send them out, man.
Yep, send them my way, and we'll work on getting them moved. Got some people that will gladly write some articles for us and go from there. So, anything else we want to talk about? I think we're good for tonight.
Short week. I'm sure next week's show will be a lot longer.
Oh yeah, lots to talk about next week. Lots to recap, lots to preview. So, we will see you guys next week. And if you're at Al Smith, come say hi. Mike will be on the mic. I'll be roaming around, just hanging out. So, yeah. So, anyway.
I'll talk to you guys between rounds.
Yes.
But I got to laser focus in. Try to run this tournament.
Yeah.
Help run the tournament. All I do is call people to mats. I'm not really running like that.
Yeah. So.
Did they say Jean retired, or is Jean going to do the Al Smith still? She does a good job with track.
Yeah. I thought I saw something about that, but I don't know for certain if she's just doing. I thought I saw something about that. I don't want to comment either way and be, totally wrong. I think she's still doing like a couple tournaments. That's kind of what's vaguely in my head that I read, but taking definitely a seat back. She's done a ton of tournaments. She did it all the way back when it was on paper. Definitely, she's thousands and thousands of tournaments. I know she always used to go out to Fargo.
She's so sweet.
So
really, like, huge shout out to her. She kind of runs it. I just yell at people on the mic.
So just like me here.
Kind of.
So with that, we're gonna take it. We're gonna be off of here, and then we will be back next Tuesday. So see ya.